Welcome back to another beautiful day in the land of music. My name is Douglas, and in today's video, we're going to talk about building a droning synth and piano layered, split sound, whatever you want to call it. But essentially, we're going to build a sound that allows us to play a chord and have that synth pad sound hold while we're able to play a piano over that holding synth pad chord. Something that's used a lot in churches. I don't find myself using it all that often, but there are certain cases where I will use it. So let's go ahead and build this right from scratch. Let's start by doing a layer initialize, completely just get us back to a raw white grand sound. Hold shift and tap on the layer init button, and then choose the all option. I'm gonna exit out of this, and the name still says powerful upright from the program we were on, but we've initialized and we're just back to a white grand with no effects. Perfect. So let's go ahead and set up this piano sound. Then we'll add a synth pad sound and set that up. And then we'll set up our split and our hold functionality to allow us to play a chord while we're playing the piano over top of it. So first, let's focus on the piano here. I'm going to change the dynamic compression. Let's bring that into 25%. Just kind of evens out the dynamic response of the piano sound. We're also going to go in and turn the effects on. Let's go ahead and take our, let's go with just, we'll stick with a stage with maybe 3.5 for an amount. Maybe let's bump that up to 4. Go with that. And we're also going to turn our EQ on. Let's take our bass down about -4 and our treble up about +4. I think that sounds pretty good for a piano sound. Let's roll with that. Let's set up our synth sound now. First, let's turn our synth section on. While we do this, let's turn our piano section off just while we build a sound here. This is going to default because we did a layer init on all, not what we want for a sound. Let's come into our preset library for the synth by tapping on the synth button in the preset library section. And let's scroll through here. We want a synth sound that's going to hold for a very long time because we're going to play a chord and that's just going to hold out while we play the piano. So we're going to keep testing some of these out. I like that one, but it fades off a little quick. Let's go and grab, let's see. If we hold the sustain pedal, kind of gives us a good idea, and we could come in and use our frequency here. Let's go with this one, super wheel pad. Let's bring that in here. And actually, you can see this is tied to our morph for the wheel because this light is lit up by the frequency. You'll notice when I play and move the modulation wheel, so let's go ahead and leave it on that. I think that's pretty cool. It's set up for us. We could go ahead and change things on this, but I'm going to leave it as is. And what we want to do is we want to set this up so we can just play a chord like a G chord and just have it hold for us. To do this, let's turn on our KB hold. And now what this is going to do is hold our note. But the problem is, if you notice, this little light here is lit for exclude, which means it's excluding layer A, because that's our active layer, from being held. To disable this, we're going to hold shift, tap on KB hold. Now it's going to hold that synth sound for us until we either play a new chord, like the C chord, or until we tap on the KB hold button to turn that off. We're going to turn our sustain pedal off for the synth sound because we want that to only apply to our piano, not our synth. So hold shift, tap on the layer A button to turn the sustain pedal off. Now the sustain pedal doesn't do anything, but if we turn KB hold on and we play a chord, now we could come over, turn our piano on. Now what's happening here is, let me turn that off. The synth is over the entire keyboard and the piano is over the entire keyboard. What we want to do is split these two sounds and give us a zone where we can play our synth chord and then a zone where we can play our piano. And both of those sounds are going to be active and on, but they're not going to be crossing over each other in the notes that we're playing. So to do this, let's turn split on, tap on split, and then in our synth section, just activate our layer A. We're going to hold shift and we're going to put this in the upper zone by tapping on the up button. If you want to watch a video where I go a bit more in depth on splitting on the Nord Stage 4, I'll put a link to one of my videos here, as well as in the description below. I talk a bit more about the different kind of functionality around the splitting. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and put the synth in the upper zone. And then let's turn our piano on and let's put our piano by holding shift and the lower octave button in the lower zone. So now let's turn KB hold on for our synth and let's play a chord. Notice our split point is right here because that's where the light's lit. Down here, we have our piano sound and it's not changing our synth. So and what we want to do, let's turn KB hold off. I'm going to do one more thing here, and that is we've got the frequency tied to the modulation wheel. For this instance, I'm going to tie the volume to the modulation wheel, which will allow me to fade that synth sound out at the end of the song or at the beginning of the song. So to do this, we're going to clear the morphs that came with the preset by holding shift, tapping on the clear morph for the wheel. And now when we move the wheel, nothing happens. So what we're going to do is bring our volume of our synth all the way down, then double tap or hold down on the wheel and move our synth volume up so we have from off to full. And then when we play this, we move our modulation wheel up and down, we're controlling the volume of that synth layer. Pretty cool stuff. Let's go ahead and turn KB hold on again. Let's play a chord with our modulation wheel down. It's playing, but we're not hearing anything until we start to bring that in. We're getting there, getting real close. What we want to do now is give us some more room to play the piano. Because right now our split point is right here in the center of the keyboard, or pretty much. We've got synth all the way here, piano all the way here. Let's turn KB hold off for a second, just so we're not triggering the sound. We can play that. Let me bring the volume up with the modulation wheel. And let's change our split point. Hold down on the split button. Our cursor's already on our split point here, and we can use the program select dial to bring that up. And notice the LEDs jumping up. I like to put it right up here in the top because I play most of my piano here in the mid to lower range. And I just kind of learned to avoid the higher when I'm using a droning sound. So let's put it in the F6, and that gives us enough room to play some chords in the synth sound up here. So now let's exit out of this. We've got our piano zone and our synth zone. So again, if I play the piano down here, no synth. And then up here, switches to piano here. So let's turn KB hold on. Let's play a chord. Now, you may be noticing that our register for the synth is just really high. It doesn't make any sense for a droning synth sound to be that high of an octave. So let's take our octave shift and let's bring this down. I think that's pretty good. I think we're on a -3 there. So let's turn KB hold on again. Let's bring our volume down. And this is pretty much our complete sound here. And in context, this is what it'll sound like. So let's say you're starting a song and you want to play that. Let's go with the G chord there. Start to fade that in. So there you go. In context, I didn't change the chord at all. So I picked kind of that root chord of G and I played in G. If you're doing some funky chords, you may have to change the chord up here. But for the most part, you can pick 1, 2, or 3 notes that work pretty well with a lot of the major chords you're playing, and you don't have to keep changing chords within the synth sound itself. If you're looking for more detail on the different components we went over in this video, I have an essentials training course for the Nord Stage 4 where I go beginning to end through all of the foundational bits of this keyboard. If that interests you, I've got a link to that in the description below, or just go to my website, DSoundman.com, to sign up to that. But I hope this video is helpful in kind of showing you not only how to set up a droning synth pad piano sound, but also how you could use that in context in church or anywhere else that you're using that. It's a really powerful way to fill in that dead space and not have to worry about the synth getting too muddy, because you're just kind of picking those root notes and then playing the piano. So it gives you the ability to be little bit more fluid and have more movement in your piano without muddying it up too much with the synth pad sound. So again, if you've got any questions around what we went over in this video, throw those down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching. Stay inspired and keep making that music.